Last week, Redskins rookie quarterback Dwayne Haskins played for the very first time. He played against the Giants. And his stat line was kind of concerning. He was 9 for 17 passing. That's only a 52% completion percentage. He had 170 yards, 0 touchdowns, and an alarming 3 interceptions. And that's a really kind of, scary stat line that makes me want to hesitate and go, ooh. And my knee-jerk reaction was not good. I looked at the numbers and I looked at the highlights and I went, yeah, he is not ready at all. And I want to acknowledge, though, I think my initial reaction was a bit hard on him, a bit knee-jerk. So I watched the film and I came up with 8 important points worth discussing from Dwayne Haskins' performance against the Giants. The number one thing is that the Redskins could not run the ball at all when he was playing quarterback for them. He only had one run that went for more than 3 yards. That was the very first play Dwayne Haskins was in, or the very first time they ran the ball with him, which they ran for 9 yards with Adrian Peterson. And then after that, that one big run, they had a bunch of runs that went for -2 yards or no gain or maybe 1 yard. Or every once in a while, they ran for 2 yards. It was awful. They could not run the ball at all with Haskins at quarterback. And their inability to run the ball leads me to talk about the weird and, I think, unwinnable situation Dwayne Haskins was put into by his coaching staff. So he was put into the game down 14-0. Eventually, he was down 3 scores. And the Redskins abandoned the run altogether, right? They did not run the ball. They kept throwing and throwing and throwing. They're down 3 scores. They're trying to mount a comeback. They're trying to throw the ball. And it didn't work. I mean, here's what's baffling, by the way. You have a rookie quarterback in his first ever performance, and you're choosing to throw the ball every single down. That's just weird to me, and I don't like that. But here's what's even more confusing is that after Dwayne Haskins' second interception, so to set it up, there was a long drive where they throw the ball a bunch. They're throwing, and Haskins throws an interception. That's how the drive ends. On the very next drive after that interception, the Redskins came out, ran the ball 3 plays in a row, went nowhere, and punted the ball away. And it was very bizarre. It's like, you clearly don't trust him. Why is he playing? I just kept wondering, what is the goal? On film, there's no clear, consistent goal with the Redskins offense. I'm sure Haskins was confused and curious too. Are you trying to mount a comeback and throwing the ball every down? Are you trying to just run a balanced offense and giving up on the victory and just saying, hey, we're going to lose this game, but get our quarterback some valuable reps so we can learn? Or are you going to run the ball every play and just not trust your quarterback at all and try to run the clock out? It was so baffling. And just, that's the word I keep thinking of. It's just, I had no clear understanding of what the Redskins were trying to do. And it looked like Dwayne Haskins didn't either. In fact, it looked like the Redskins didn't know what they were doing. This is bad coaching, and you're putting your quarterback in a bad scenario, which does not allow him a good chance to succeed. The third point I want to talk about is that he wasn't that terrible. One of his first throws, he does a great job with his progression. His eyes start inside. He doesn't like what he sees. He works outside and hits a receiver on the perimeter. That's good. And he had a couple other throws where he threw the ball underneath and took what the defense gave him. I was like, despite the stat line and what I saw on film, and no one ever showed you the highlights where he does good. You just hear the highlights where he throws bad throws. And the fourth point I want to talk about is that he moved really, really well. There's a play where, a couple times he extended a play and threw the ball downfield for a gain. And another play where he buys time, he escapes the pocket, does a good job keeping his eyes downfield. Then he sees a running lane and he takes off. And that's awesome. That's good stuff from a rookie quarterback. Now, the fifth point I want to bring up is that, hey, okay, if you're going to run, we would love to see you slide. There's a play where what we don't want him getting hurt like Josh Allen did. You don't want your quarterback getting a concussion. Just avoid hits. If you're a quarterback, learn from Russell Wilson. Avoid taking big hits. Now, the last 3 points I want to talk about, are points that I think Dwayne Haskins needs to really look at with emphasis. He needs to get better and overcome these next couple things. The sixth thing I think is really important is that he's slow at processing defenses. There's a 3rd and 10 where he holds on to the ball way, way too long. I think he got greedy. I think he didn't want to check the ball down. He was trying to be, he wanted to be the big macho guy, make a play downfield, and nothing was there. He was unwilling to check down. You got to just take what the defense gives you and check down, even on 3rd and 10. But later on a 1st and 10, I saw a very confusing thing. He makes eye contact with the receiver who's open, and he doesn't throw him the ball. It's weird. You pause it on film. He's looking at the guy, they're making eye contact, and for whatever reason, he doesn't throw the ball. And on my notes, I'm just writing, I'm like, what in the world is he looking at? I don't understand. So there are times where Haskins is really slow to process the defense, and that is concerning, but I don't think it's a cause to panic yet. He's young, he's a rookie. I think he's going to get better. He needs more reps and more practice before he can get better and process the defense faster. Remember, this is a guy who played 1 year in college. He needs time to develop. Now, the seventh thing is a little more scary if you're a Redskins fan. I think he might be afraid to get hit. He had a few inaccurate throws anyway. I think often his feet aren't great, and the ball comes out of his hand kind of weird. But there are two plays that stand out to me with inaccuracy that really concern me. And the first one is on his very first interception of the day, which went for a pick six. It's a very simple concept. Haskins' read progression starts on the left. He's going to high-low the corner, see if he carries with the vertical at all. The corner does. Now, I think personally he had a good matchup with one-on-one coverage down the left sideline. For whatever reason, he didn't like it. Fair enough. He came off to the sail route. And the sail route coming across the field is open. He's beat his man by about a step. And Dwayne Haskins does the right thing. He pulls the trigger. Here's the problem. If you watch film, he cowers away. He doesn't step into his throw. He's inaccurate, and it leads to a pick six. That's really alarming if you're watching your young quarterback. If you're a Redskins fan, you go, oh, is our guy afraid to get hit? That's really bad. There's another throw down the right sideline where he doesn't step into his throw. He's falling away from pressure. He looks scared to get hit. And I don't blame him. I understand. I don't play in the NFL. I wouldn't want to get hit by giant defensive linemen. But that's part of the job. If you're going to play in the NFL, you're going to get hit as you throw. And it looks like Dwayne Haskins might be afraid to get hit. That's the most alarming, concerning thing I saw on film from Haskins. Now, the eighth and final point I want to talk about are his two other interceptions. We saw one of them, the pick six. There's two other interceptions. We'll start with the last one he threw. His third was not entirely his fault. We'll start there. Him and his receiver's timing were just off. Dwayne's trying to throw the ball before the receiver gets out of his break. And he might have been, I think, a tad early. The goal on a timing throw like this is it's a hitch, right? You're trying to throw the ball so that as the receiver turns around, the ball hits him in the hands. Haskins is a bit early. Now, Vernon Davis, the intended receiver, comes out of his break a little bit slow. And the combination of Haskins being a bit early and Vernon Davis being a bit slow leads to the ball being tipped up and intercepted. I can live with that. That's okay. The next one is also, I think, just a learning moment for Dwayne Haskins. It's a second interception. It's kind of a weird decision. There's a fade ball down the right sideline, and the receiver wasn't really open. It's man-to-man coverage, and the defender's in great position. What Haskins needs to do here is either do not throw the ball to that spot or throw the ball to the back shoulder where only your receiver can get it. Instead, what he does is floats the ball up in the air, which allows the defender who's right there in great position to make a play and grab the interception. That's the wrong trajectory. That's not a great decision and not a great ball. If you're going to throw that ball, you got to throw it where only your guy can make a play. So I'm concerned about Dwayne Haskins. I'm glad he's not playing this week coming up against the Patriots. Colt McCoy is going to start for the Redskins against the Patriots. I think that would be horrible. It's a way you ruin your quarterback's confidence. But now there's also rumors that Jay Gruden, the Redskins head coach, did not want Dwayne Haskins in the NFL draft. And that's even more alarming. If a coach doesn't want you and doesn't believe in you, then he's really in trouble. I think Haskins, what I've seen on film, he's slow to process defenses. His feet aren't great. He's afraid to get hit. He's not making incredible decisions. I think that's already really alarming. And then if your coach doesn't believe you can succeed, that's really, really bad. I think he's got a lot to overcome. Dwayne Haskins does. I think he can succeed. There were some flashes of good moments. It wasn't the end of the world what he did and the mistakes he made. But I am very concerned about Haskins, and I'm concerned he might fail in the NFL. My name is Zach Schomler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It is my favorite thing in the entire world. And you may not know, my dream when I graduate college eventually is to do this show as my full-time job. Now, I also want to be very upfront and honest about my plan and what's going on. I recently monetized my YouTube channel. What that means is that some of my videos make money through ad revenue. Now, it's fewer than you think. A lot of my videos get claimed. But in the past, I've received donations through the form of PayPal and Patreon.com. PayPal.me/Zach Schomler, Patreon.com/Zach Schomler. So because I'm making ad revenue, it felt weird to just get donations. I wanted to give something back to the people who support me on Patreon. So now there's a reward. If you support me on Patreon, you can submit questions at the dollar level or above. You just need to give $1 a month. If you do that, you can submit questions to a pool of questions where I look at. I'll read all the questions on Patreon, and I pick the top couple every episode and read them and answer them on a segment called Ask Zach. Pick the top couple questions and answer them at the end of every single episode. Now, that's for people who want to support me with money. If you have no money to give, I totally understand. I've actually never supported anybody on Patreon. I feel kind of weird about that. I'm a broke college kid myself. I totally understand. But if you believe in me and if you believe in my dream and still want to help me, one thing you can do is help me grow by telling your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Guys, thank you so much. I know that was a long spiel. I really appreciate it, and hope you have a great day.